Yo, so that was my interview with Samuel L. Jackson. He's got a lot of energy, and he likes burgers. He got a little.
He doesn't like snakes.
Dude, he does not like no motherfucking snakes on his motherfucking planes. That's one thing we know about that man. And maybe we'll do another interview with him later. Now, the next one is the big one, man. Brother, man, you're missing out on a good podcast. Because last week, I interviewed the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. This week, I'm going to keep on keeping on. I got an interview with another President of the United States. Former President of the United States, Bill Clinton, dude. Dude, how do you think I'm getting these interviews? Are you surprised?
Black male or white male?
There's certain white people in the connections. Let's go to my interview with dude, if this doesn't get the podcast famous, I don't know what will. Here's White Jesus interviewing former President Bill Clinton. Mr. President, thank you for letting me interview you, sir.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you.
How are you today, Mr. President?
Good.
Excellent, sir. We're closing in on the 2020 elections. What are your thoughts?
We have stood together in the hard times as partners and friends. Let us stand together and work together now for a new future of peace and possibility.
That's a very positive outlook, sir. Very uplifting. What do you think of Donald Trump's handling of the coronavirus?
I think I completely supported what he did.
Really? This is actually surprising coming from you, sir, if I may say.
Why?
Well, President Clinton, I'm just surprised to hear you say anything good about Donald Trump. I mean, this man has attacked the hell out of your wife, threatened to put her in jail even.
What are you going to do?
Mr. President, if I may be blunt, are you high on pot right now?
Of course not.
But really, sir?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. I'm high too. This is an incredible moment in my life. I'm high, Bill Clinton is high, and we're talking on the phone. Thank you, God. And thank you, Bill Clinton.
Who's cool?
I'm cool. Awesome, bro. Oh, is it okay if I call you bro now?
No, of course not.
I apologize, Mr. President William Jefferson Clinton. I got a little too comfortable there.
In one another, I really believe we see a distant mirror of our better selves.
Oh, wow, that's really deep.
I grew up in a conversational culture where people actually talked and listened to each other. And I don't know how these people make it today.
I understand exactly what you're saying, sir. I mean, people today are so connected and so distant at the same time. Social media is insane. There's a lot of talking and not much listening. There needs to be better actual conversations.
Basically, we're the last generation that was born without a television.
Well, maybe you, sir. I was born with color TV. Color television actually raised me. I mean, my parents were there too, but really just to put me in front of the TV.
That bothers me.
Oh, don't let it bother you, sir. I watched Mr. Rogers, Dukes of Hazzard, and sitcoms, so I ended up being a nice guy with good morals. I'm funny, and I can jump a drawbridge if the sheriffs are ever chasing me.
Who's cool?
I am. You're too kind, Mr. President. You and Hillary are very busy. How often do you get to spend quality time with your wife?
Every 7 years.
Oh, my. How do you deal with the time in between?
It's a heck of a lot better.
But your marriage and partnership is still strong?
For several years. It meant a lot to me.
Oh, okay. How is your daughter, Chelsea?
Bottom of the family totem pole.
That's a shame. Well, sir, perhaps we should change topics. Have you ever used LSD?
Every 7 years.
Cool. What kind of effects did it give you? What was your experience?
I could be turned into a two-dimensional cartoon instead of a three-dimensional human being.
That sounds pretty rad, Mr. President. Did it inspire any creativity?
I could be a gifted painter.
Very interesting, sir. Mr. President, concerning lovemaking, top or bottom?
Bottom,
Yeah, well, being on top can be very tiring.
I never got tired of it.
Well, that's because you're Bill freaking Clinton. Sir, now that we've gotten a little more personal, when you're away from your wife, do you, self-pleasure?
It's amazing how much of every day it's taken up.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I'm sure it's not the same than a loving connection with your wife.
It's a heck of a lot better.
Sir, which country do you think poses the greatest threat to the United States?
Canada.
Really? I mean, with all due respect, Canada doesn't have a nuclear arsenal. I don't even think they have pocket knives. I think their army is like 7 dudes, and they're really nice.
In a global economy with global security challenges, America must look to the east no less than to the west.
Yes, sir, but Canada is north.
What?
Yes, sir. I don't think we need to worry about Canada. The only way I see them hurting America is hitting us with hockey sticks or something.
It is less likely that we will face these dangers.
I agree. Sir, may I ask you about Monica Lewinsky?
Sometimes you click with people and sometimes you don't.
Yeah, so I guess you clicked with Monica while she was an intern there at the White House.
We found things we could do together.
Apparently you did. How did you keep that affair a secret?
We never talked about it, never talked about it in public.
And when you were asked about the affair?
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Okay, sir. Well, let's change topics. I have some movie trivia for you. Mr. President, in the movie Groundhog Day, every day Phil, played by Bill Murray, stepped in a puddle. Each time Phil stepped in the puddle, his annoying friend would say what about that first step?
It's a real doozy.
You are correct, sir. Great movie, right?
Wonderful.
How was your childhood, sir?
I mean, my life revolved around meals, and I had, and my father died, in a car wreck before I was born, so I spent a lot of time with my grandparents.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your father. That's a tragedy. It's good that your grandparents stepped in. It's important to a child. My parents got divorced when I was a young child, and my stepfather became the man who raised me. He was more of a father than most biological fathers. Whoever steps up in that position to raise a child, it's very important. My father was a great man.
So let's get back to the story. And you won't be laughing when I finish telling you this.
Okay, go on, Mr. President.
Sometimes you get a bunch done because you're too dumb to know you can't do it.
I don't understand, sir.
What happened?
I thought you were going to tell a funny story.
Yes, so Chelsea could bring her friends up there.
Up where?
In the governor's mansion in Arkansas.
Mr. President, let's quickly change topics. What are your thoughts on Adolf Hitler?
I admired him. I don't care what anybody says.
Mr. President, no. Did you hear the question clearly?
Yes, so
No. I'm assuming you misheard me on the phone.
No.
It's probably a bad connection. I said Hitler, Adolf Hitler.
I admired him.
He consistently benefited by being underestimated.
President Bill Clinton, you are too high.
I don't care what anybody says. I mean, aren't you glad that a Cambodian woman found her way to Louisiana?
Sir, you're not even making sense anymore.
Who's cool?
You're cool, Mr. President. Right now, you're a little too cool. And I'm thinking we can probably continue this interview later. Maybe in the morning before you get so freaking high?
Yes, all right.
Excellent. Well, thank you for talking with me for the podcast, Mr. President.
What happened?
I'm not quite sure, Mr. President. I'm not quite sure. But thank you again, and hopefully we'll talk again soon. Sir, could you just take us out with a good old-fashioned Bill Clinton thing?
My message to you today is that together we must embrace the dawn of this new century together, and we must make the most of it together.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Thank you, Mr. President.
Happy birthday.